And now we can consider it the perfect Wednesday. You know when they say perfect wedding, I said perfect Wednesday, because wellness is a very critical element of our everyday life so that we become the better version of ourselves. You cannot become the better version without a wellness, without wellness. And Makeba Wellness helps us to become that perfect version of ourselves. Good afternoon, Tom. Welcome to the Mete Hangout.
Good afternoon to everyone listening and everyone in studio. It's so good to be back.
Would you, when are you running the competition? I can't even ask you, would you?
No, ask would I?
Would you?
No, I would not. I'm so
Sonke
sorry.
siyayibaleka Uncle Moose.
I had all the confidence.
Wena wedwa honest oqunga isibindi la.
Uncle Muzi says it's part of his bucket list. What's the one thing on your bucket list that is like extreme? Like you like
Extreme. I'd say I don't think skydiving is extreme.
Thank you. Someone driving.
Oh, swimming with the sharks.
Yes.
Yeah, can I even say shark diving?
Shark dive.
Yes, that one. I've been wanting to do
Uncle Moose said he would wrestle ingwenya.
Yeah,
Why would
something
you do
interesting.
that?
It's something interesting.
But it's the same as shark diving.
No, but you're in a cage.
Yeah.
But
Yes, it is
guys,
as you see the shark up close. It ain't gonna
Yeah.
touch you, baby. It's hairy.
I wanted to redo it. I did it 2 years back.
Sorry?
As a
Shark
challenge on the Mete Hangout. Yeah, we did a
Okay.
challenge on the Mete
Oh.
Hangout, and we did it. It wasn't that brilliant because it was too short. I think it
I was not
too
here.
short.
That's why it was brilliant.
Yeah, but-
Swimming with sharks.
I'm gonna try it again this year. One more shark dive.
wow. When you are
Wait, there's a shark diving area in Gauteng.
No. We did it by Ushaka Marine. Yeah. Yeah.
Nangangibizi.
Nice.
Ngizinangangibizi. The next thing wona ushala.
I would
All
never
right,
do
let's
that.
jump into it. Where are we today as we continue on the journey of wellness right here on the Mete Hangout? We appreciate you making time again to join us in studio. Where are we today?
Today we are talking about rest. Woohoo!
Ooh.
Rest.
My favorite. I'm coming
My
from
favorite.
rest.
Is it? I love that for you. I love
Yeah,
it. You
yeah.
know what? I am very desperate for rest right now. But yeah, I'll tell you what kind of rest I need towards the end of the show.
All right.
But today we're going to be speaking about rest and just what rest is and the importance of rest. Because I feel like everyone has a different definition of what rest is.
True.
And many people feel that rest is luxury. And that's why you go on holiday like maybe once a year. But rest is actually necessary, and it's like a necessity. It's not something that is an option. Just like food is like a necessary, rest is just as necessary.
Wow. We're going to be diving into that particular conversation. Do take out your notebook if you're having your lunch. This is the perfect lunch conversation with Spesi Lendaba from Makeba Wellness live on the Mete Hangout. Send through your questions if you've got any on our station line, which is 067-153-1089. Take it away to me.
Right. So we are going to be unpacking the importance of rest and then diving into each segment. So there's firstly physical benefits of rest,
Okay.
and those are quite self-explanatory in the sense that there's rejuvenation of the body. There is improved physical performance. So with physical performance, it also speaks to your performance emsebenzini. It's very difficult to perform optimally if you have not been resting. And then also physical benefits of resting is to reduce injury, especially if like you are going to be doing running for great distances or just training or living through your body. To prevent injuries, you definitely need to rest. I know that if I haven't rested for isikhathi or if I am very close to burning out, I fall quite a lot.
Ooh.
And I lose my footing quite a lot. I also get hurt quite often. Or I get the flu. Like if you hear wooting the flu, it's probably because I'm tired.
Fatigue also
Yes.
has that. Okay, right?
Exactly. So those are the physical benefits of rest. And then we have the mental benefits of rest. It's reduced stress. So when you're resting, you're spending less time thinking about all the things that stress you out, right? And because you're resting and rejuvenating, then you're able to just reboot and actually come back stronger so that you can tackle those things that are causing you stress. And then another benefit is cognitive function. Your brain being
Interesting.
able to actually function. I know I'm tired when I make a lot of typos. I swear. Because my autocorrect, I switched it off many years ago. Because at some point I was like, why can't I spell definitely? I need to switch this thing off.
Wow.
So I haven't had the autocorrect
Wow.
on. So my second I'm type lots and lots of typos. It's usually because I'm very tired. And mentally my mind can't even tell.
Yeah.
Would say, okay, this should be an N and not an M. You know, so definitely cognitive function and your ability to solve problems. I think when you're tired, it's very difficult for you to solve problems, whether it be choosing left or right or choosing which project to explore. Brain function definitely has a direct link to fatigue and rest, and then enhanced productivity and creativity. I think when you've rested really, really well, you'll find because after holiday, you just have all these great ideas.
True.
So you're definitely more creative and you have more to pour out of your cup. Yes, so those are the mental benefits. And then emotional benefits. You'll notice that when you're tired, chances of you having arguments with people are very high. I cannot drive when I'm tired because I will engage in road rage. The dumbest things I will pop off. Because I'm like,
I want to get home.
Yes,
That mentality.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's why you actually encounter so many accidents towards the end of the day because we're also tired, you know, want to go home. So it's definitely emotional regulation. So you find yourself in situations that you wouldn't if you weren't tired. So you're able to regulate your emotions and increase self-awareness. So you're able to, because you're resting, you can provide an opportunity to engage in introspection, self-reflection, and it increases self-awareness.
Okay.
That's what rest does. And you're just better in your relationships. You show up better in your relationships when you're well rested. Most definitely. I know that a lot of parents get very snappy and very groggy when they're tired, especially with their children. So I think if you are a parent, invest in rest for the sake of your kids. Yeah.
Not for your own sake.
for your own sake, but yes, that's how you'd find. Like, let's say, also, I feel like we all grew up in the same household where your mom says, "Ukhiphe inkukhu efrijini," and then she comes home, and that chicken was not out the fridge, and she blows her head off. And it's like, okay, but why are you so upset, dude? You can just pop it into the microwave. But also, her being at work the whole day is exhausting, you know, so it fuses a bit short when you're tired. And so those are the emotional benefits. So burnout manifests in the body quite often and in many different ways, and fatigue being the biggest indicator. So if you sleep and you still wake up feeling tired, just know that it's at a heightened level, and you just sleeping doesn't help. I know so many exhausted people, and it's like, yes, but I'm just genuinely exhausted, you know. A lot of people are falling sick because there's this virus just doing the rounds, but also your immune system does not function optimally when you're tired, because where's it going to get all this energy and strength from? You know, you're already depleted. So burnout can definitely lead to illnesses. It can lead to depression because you're unable to show up. If you're struggling in your relationships, you're struggling, you're struggling at school, life is going on, stress is stressing, but you can't show up because your energies are low, you know. So it can also lead to depression and definitely injury, because our bodies are very simple. You give it, it gives you. So if you're not giving it anything to run off on, then chances are you're going to get hurt because it's not working the way that it should, whether it be your mind being alert of different things, whether it be your body being able to respond quickly to certain stimulus. If you're tired, you can't show up. It's really that simple.
I really love the way you've unpacked this particular subject, because sometimes we get to a space where we actually misinterpret fatigue as depression, because sometimes you are now fighting with everybody and people think with depression, but actually the reality is you are actually just tired.
And it's violent exhaustion.
Yeah.
Exactly. And because you think that you're doing what you can, like, so it's definitely not fatigue. Fatigue is at a very heightened level, so sleeping is not enough.
Okay.
You know, there are many different ways to rest. But just going back to the first point of understanding that rest is not luxury. Rest is not something you also have to perform for. I think very often as high performing people, you just have that narrative of, I need to earn my rest.
True.
And it doesn't work like that. It actually doesn't. I always reference nature. And The prey animals, so a lion, for example, it actually sleeps more than it hunts.
Oh,
It
interesting.
really,
Yeah.
really does. Those lions loiter, and you'd see them hanging in a tree, and it's like that's not very lion of you. You should be running around catching zebras, you know.
Yeah.
But nature understands the concept of rest, and that's why we've got so many different seasons. You can't be a rose blooming from Jan to Jan. It makes no sense, you know. So if rest is important in nature,
Yeah.
rest should be important in your life, and you will not see a lion doing cartwheels because it wants to earn its rest.
I see.
Rest is not something you earn. Rest is your birthright, just like oxygen is.
So I always thought male lions are lazy. Because you'll find them sleeping, and then it's the females that are busy. You know?
Most definitely. I hear that. But even the female, the lioness, it rests. Animals just rest,
Yeah.
you know? And they don't skimp on rest. They don't feel that they need to do anything for rest. It's just like oxygen. It's something that's birthed. Well, you're birthed with, and it's your birthright, and it's a blessing to you. So I think abantu abaningi, we usually get these cues from our bodies and our minds and our spirits that say, dude, it's
Yeah.
time to
Yeah.
rest.
Yeah.
But you feel like, I haven't worked hard enough
Yeah.
to rest. So then you deprive yourself of that rest, and that just depletes you even further.
And how important is it, Spare, to identify your own signs of fatigue? Because your signs of fatigue wouldn't be my signs of fatigue. For example, if I'm just tired, I'm not typing, I'm not making any typos, I'm falling asleep. So, how important is it for me as an individual to identify those signs of fatigue within self?
Self-awareness is the beginning of everything. If you want to understand how you function, you need to know like your actual core. Ukuthi, when I'm energetic, this is how I show up. When
Okay.
I'm tired, this is how I show up. If you know yourself very well, then you'll know ukuthi, akufani nami
Yeah.
ukulala, you know, or akufani nami ukuba very snappy, you know. So if you know that, no man, I'm actually really good at handling conflict, and all of a sudden you're just popping like a cricket, then you know something's wrong. And instead of ignoring that cue, then you look into that cue. If you know that you're a person, you're not sickly, but all of a sudden, we don't even have to know you in the room. We're just here with a cough. Because it's like a hey, you know, if you know that you're not a sickly person, but you're very sick all the time, then you look into that. If you know that umuntu who is very sharp, and your responses and reflection, your reflexes are very, very sharp, all of a sudden you have bruises everywhere because you're walking into everything. That's a sign. So self-awareness is where you start, whether it be on your wellness journey, whether it be you understanding burnout, whether it be you trying to energize. Everyone's journey is so unique, and it's important that you do your research. Don't take everything that you're given. Do your research and then figure out how does this apply to me in this season.
Wow. Wow.
Can you speak to the part where you've rested, quote unquote, and you're tired? Let's say 8 hours yakho still, but you wake up and you're still like worse than before. What are your remedies for that?
So before I answer that, it's important to understand that rest is
Not just living around.
it's not just sleeping, but there are many different types of rest. But also, just going back, whenever you feel like I have to perform for anything, always go back to, okay, what is in nature? What is nature doing? And also remember that even God rested. And God is a super God, you know? And in God resting, that was God showing us, hey, dude, rest is important.
Yeah.
Christ was in a boat and he was zama enye into. What did Christ do? He took a nap. Christ was just like, let's take a nap, I'll come back.
Yeah.
You know? And that just highlights the importance of rest. Rest, there's so much power in rest. But because capitalism wants us working 24 hours a day, capitalism says you haven't earned rest enough. You haven't done your 8 hours. You Beyonce has the same 24 hours as you. What have you done? Beyonce's on a tour, you know? So I think when you detach from that need or feeling to perform, then you know and you'll understand what kind of rest you need.
Okay.
So someone shared an analogy, beautiful analogy. She said that you are like a bathtub, right?
Ooh, okay.
So there's the plug where you plug bathtub, and then there's the water.
Yeah.
So when you plug, Maufagi prop, that's you resting, like actual sleeping and not doing anything that's strenuous.
Okay.
That's you closing the bathtub. And you refueling is you filling the water up. And that would look like you spending time with abantu bathandayo. That looks like you being creative. That looks like you engaging in your hobbies. That looks like you stepping away from the things that actually cause you stress. You know, that looks like you playing a game. I find so much rejuvenation in playing games. I love them, you know. So there are different types of rest in that sense. Uguti, there's the rest, uguti, gyalala, and I'm not doing anything, and I'm physically repairing. And then there's the rest where I'm filling my cup up. Because very often we're just pouring out of cup, pouring. And then you're resting, so you're plugging the tap, but you're not filling the water up. Or you're filling the water up, but there's no plug in the tap, so it's just going through. So you'd find you're doing all these cool, fun stuff and your hobbies and you're engaging and you're spending time with family, but you still feel so exhausted. Or you go on holiday and you're just like, I need a holiday after my holiday because you actually didn't rest on your holiday. But like swimming with sharks, you know.
Rest now.
You know,
rest.
So you have to find a balance between rest and refuel.
Okay.
So imagine that you're a bathtub. Ask yourself, how much water do I have in my tub? And then you know, it's okay. I'm running low on my water. Let me refill with the things that fill my heart up.
Yeah.
Or I'm just physically exhausted. Let me plug my tub and just go rest.
See, beautiful analogy.
All things will rest right here on a Wellness Wednesday with President Daba. And we continue on this conversation. If you've got any questions or comments, do send them through to our WhatsApp line, which is 067-153-1089. Alternatively, do comment on our social media platforms. Don't go to plug the listeners on what are those social media platforms.
On Facebook and Instagram, we are Hope Alive Radio. On Twitter, also known as X, we are Hope Alive_radio.
Yeah, in case you're preparing for that 89-kilometer run, rest is very critical so that because it's all about, not just about fitness, it's also about your mental wellness when you get into the starting line. Do continue, Dombi, and share some more of these insights when it comes to rest.
So when prioritizing rest, firstly, you have to listen to your body. Our bodies are so wise. They hold so much wisdom and so much love. And God has designed our bodies to carry us through. Right?
Okay.
So your body's always going to share cues with you to say, hey, I'm not feeling good, or I need to sleep, or okay, my eyes feel a bit uncomfortable. Instead of my eye drop, you know, I think very often we find ways to negotiate with our bodies.
Okay.
Say, I know you're tired, but let's try this. Then you have a sachet of these little energy shots, you know. So instead of negotiating with your body, trust is wisdom and listen to your body. So pay attention to the different cues, but you can only do that if you know your body. So self-awareness is where you start, but listen to your cues. Most definitely. And then you have to schedule rest. Life does not stop lifing. And if you think rest is going to find you, you're in trouble, you know. You have to schedule rest. Just like God scheduled the last day to be one for rest. Do the same thing. Be intentional about resting. Okay, this is my off day. And on your off day, you can't be doing laundry and meal prep. And you know, that's not resting. That's you just not doing the other jobs, you know. So schedule rest and actually have a plan. So what I do, I tell myself, okay, this is what I'm going to do on my rest day. And if I don't have like an itinerary for the day, I'm going to do laundry. At some point, I'm going to be like, the floor looks a little less shiny. Let me shine the floor, you know? So if you don't have like an actual plan for the day, which is okay, from 10 to 12, I'm sleeping. From 12 to this time, you have to be deeply intentional about your rest day. So schedule your rest day and actually like detail it. This is what my rest day looks like. And then practice self-care. Self-care looks different every single season. It's not always just bathing in bath salts, bath bomb. You know, I think you have to define what self-care is for you. It's very important to remember that we live in a capitalist world, and capitalism will sell you everything. You think you're practicing self-care by buying all these bath bombs. Not really. Maybe that's not what you need in the season, you know. So figure out what's okay. What is the season needing from me, and what do I need to rejuvenate? Because maybe sometimes you're training for your new comrades, right? So your diet is not even going to be the same.
True.
But how you eat and train now is not going to be the same compared to how you're going to eat and train post comrades. So it's very important for you to gauge which season am I in, how am I moving in the season, what does the season need from me in terms of energy levels, in terms of what I'm pouring out in my cup, and then you'll know, okay, it's my giving season, so I'm spending a lot of time with people.
Yeah.
So social energy and social capacity, I need a whole lot of that. So then you know you need to pour into that more. So gauge and understand what's the season, what does the season need, and then that's going to guide on how you should be resting.
And very important point that you highlighted in the beginning there, rest is not just sleeping. There's a lot of elements that you need to add to your resting. And one new one that you've added just right now, it's not the time to spring clean when you are resting.
Yeah, it's not. That it needs energy as well.
Yeah.
You know, spending time with people needs energy as well. This past weekend, I was like, oh, I'm gonna give a really boiling, but my social battery was so low.
Yeah.
It was so low, and I'm like, you know what? Right now, I just need to spend time with self, and rest. You know, and that's what I did, and I was able to show up better this week. So it's important to just be also very honest. Be honest, it's okay. This is how I'm genuinely feeling. FOMO aside, this is how I'm feeling, and then these are the cues that I'm getting from my body. And it's not just your body, but your mind is always speaking to you, and your spirit is always speaking to you too. So gauge what do you need, and then be guided by your needs.
Lutando has a question for you, Spare. Am I supposed to make use of certain elements to improve my rest life, like tea? I normally use chamomile tea when I want to rest better. Is it something that I should continue to do in my journey?
Most definitely. I love chamomile. Shame. Chamomile is always under so much pressure because I expect it to solve all my problems.
Yeah.
solve all of them.
Because it's that great a tea. So there are many different types of rest. So there's sleep, obviously.
Okay.
And then sleep being actual rest where your cells can genuinely rejuvenate. And then there is relaxation, and relaxation involves things that you can eat as well. So that speaks to your chamomiles, your lavenders. I love a pillow mist. It's so good. So it's physical things that you can do. So maybe sitting in that bath with bath salt relaxes the muscles, or having certain foods that don't exhaust the body. I still say slop chips bang, but those things will exhaust your body like nothing. Red meat is great, but red meat requires a lot of energy from the body to be digested.
True. Yeah.
You know, so the food you eat, I think if you are genuinely tired, change your diet and eat cleaner so that your body has less to do and less to detox and less to break down. You know, so that's a form of rest, resting from the junk.
Ooh, resting from the junk.
Take a break.
So I can make use of such teas even in my own diet as well to ensure that it helps with the process of
Most
actual
definitely.
resting.
Actual resting. Sometimes it's resting within the body.
Okay.
So giving your digestive system a break. You know, so not just the chamomile, but maybe going on a detox. That's a form of rest.
Oh,
Because
interesting.
you're giving your body iskati to actually just release anything that is heavy and anything that is not needed. So you're giving your body, so rest basically is rejuvenation. So giving your body more than what it needs. Not more than what it needs, but more than it has, basically. So detoxing is a form of rest. Because after you detox, you always feel energized.
Always feel fresher and brand new. How do we wrap up this conversation? What are your closing remarks and extra notes that you have for the listeners this afternoon?
Just to go back to what we had shared, rest is not something you have to perform for. It's not something that it's not a reward. Because sometimes you're like, let me study these 5 chapters and then I'll reward myself with a nap.
Yeah.
No, let's not attach performance to rest. Imagine that it's like oxygen.
Okay.
It is a blessing, and God doesn't require you to do cartwheels for the blessings that you have. You know, so treat rest as like you treat oxygen, like you treat ugudla. You're thankful for it, but you understand that it's your birthright and it's just as important. So give your body an opportunity to do what it's meant to do. Give your body and mind and spirit the opportunities to show up for you as they've been designed to, and do that through rest.
Beautiful conversation. We appreciate you sharing this particular topic with the listeners and with us right here in studio. Lessons learned there. For me, I actually can attest to the mental element. I was having writer's block for quite some time with a project that I was working on, and I took a week's rest. Guess what? I managed to unravel the part I was struggling to do, and I look at that project as you speak now, and I'm thinking, it was good to take a good rest. So for me, I can
Rest
really
is
attest
so
to
productive.
rest. Yeah, very,
Rest
very
is
productive. Yeah.
Yeah.
Makeba Wellness has got a beautiful product out, which is for dealing with stress and everyday life better. Do you mind breaking it down just for our listeners a little bit more, so that perhaps someone that has not been able to plug in to get to this kind of a tool or a package, then they can know better and apply and actually buy one from you guys at Makeba Wellness?
So we understand that so many people are living with stress, and
Yeah.
stress is such a big killer. It's actually deeply dangerous. And as a way to combat stress, we've developed a stress relief box. So in the box, we have a range of locally sourced products that basically address the different symptoms of stress. So whether it be sleep, we've got a sleep mist for that. Whether it be digestive issues, we have a gut digestive shot for that. So it's a different range of products that help you with challenges that you face every single day,
Yeah.
just to help you get by. And then we also have a wellness workbook that basically unpacks what stress is, how to identify it, and actually how to combat it, and different journaling prompts so that you can actually get that ball rolling. So the stress box is something that lasts you for the entire month,
Wow.
so that you're really supported throughout the entire time. And we change our products over time just to see what's working, how is it serving people, and we're also guided by people's needs as well. And just finding our way and then contributing in a way to help people manage stress and just live better.
And how do we get a hold of this stress box?
So you're welcome to just send us a message on WhatsApp. So our number is 082-727-5039. You just send us a message, and then you follow the prompts, and then you put in your correct details, and then you'll get your box very soon.
Beautiful stuff. And ladies and gentlemen, that is Spesi Lendaba, who joins us every Wednesday right here on Hope Alive Radio for conversations on wellness. And today we talked all things rest. You can catch this conversation. If you missed a bulk of it, you can catch it by simply going to www.hopealiveradio.co.za and click on podcast, and then be able to catch up on conversations there with this pair. We've had a lot of conversations that could take you to the next level. We appreciate you and really appreciate the time that you always make to come and be with us right here on Hope Alive Radio. What are your parting words to those that are watching and listening to us online?
Parting words is that you are not alone, and understand that what you're experiencing, chances are other people are experiencing it too. So open yourself up to community, because there's so many solutions, and there's no need to struggle when community exists.
No better way to close off a conversation